Hi, family. I love the early morning hours, just as the sun is coming up. I've been up for several hours because that's what I do now. But I just wanted to share a few things that are heavy on my heart, actually, right now. So the first one is really, really good. It's happy news. A woman wrote to thank me and say that she and her daughter had reunited after being estranged for 8 months on her daughter's birthday. So it just made my heart so, so happy. That is the end goal. That's the end goal. And the tide is turning. That's the great news. I'm out there all the time, have been for many years. And I'm here to tell you there is a definitive turn. The grief of the American mother is coming. I've been working on it consistently. I have to do other things to pay the bills, to build the channel and flesh it out. However, I made you that promise, and that promise matters to me on so many levels. It's coming. So the next thing, my therapist, I'll call him Dr. Steve, right? Because I'm going to call her what she calls herself. There's this lovely young woman that I became aware of, I don't know, 5 or 6 months ago, maybe. Dr. Anna Psychology. I've only really watched, I think, the one full episode in its entirety. Loved the end, the last few words. You had to listen right to the end to get it, but absolutely loved it. And cemented my fondness for her and my hope that she will continue to do good work. So with those two therapists in mind, and Dr. Steve, my therapist, I mentioned in another episode, the last time I went and saw him, which wasn't long ago, I hadn't seen him for several months. And I went in for just kind of a head checkup, because this guy's educated, he's authentic. He's the real deal when it comes to therapists. But he looked at me, and he is about the age, maybe a little older, that my son would be. And he said, "Deb, I was wrong." And he had just this worn, exhausted look on his face. It said so much more than his words did. But what he was referencing was, I had gone in a few days after the election and shared my just overwhelming sorrow at the macro level of insanity. And of course, he legitimately shared his hope and belief that the system would maintain itself, our country, and he believed in the good, right? And so that's what he was saying he was wrong to, is that he didn't realize how much bad there was. And I heard that in Dr. Anna as well when I listened to her episode the other day. She was just so sad. She was just so surprised. And I always find great, there's never any satisfaction, right? Because I'd been talking to my therapist about this. We have a wonderful long-term relationship. His wife, for those who don't know, is my physician and has been since her first year in practice. And he came into my life shortly after that. You're a fool if you don't seek counsel outside yourself. Duh. Anyway, so he's fabulous at that. But between the two of them, it was so sad because I know what it is to have that belief and to sustain and hold, and then I also know what it is to lose it. And when there's therapists, right? These are not the vulture therapists that I'll talk a great deal about on the Oprah episode. These are healing professionals. Clearly, I mean, I didn't have to listen to that. I want to call her that little girl. She's not. I mean, she's grown, but God, she's just, I want to say adorable. I know she probably wouldn't like that either, but she is. She's just so authentic. She's wrong. about estrangement not being a trend. It is a trend, and I'm not going to fight with her about it because I think I saw in her, when I listened to her episode, I saw in her the definite ability to have that open mind and change her mind when presented with the facts, and I'll do that. So I don't really know that it matters, I guess. I've never really thought that it matters. Some people call it an epidemic. It most certainly is an epidemic. But both of those people are amazing, amazing healing professionals. And it was with great sadness that I took in both of their, it's like the popping of a balloon. It's just immediate and it's gone. And you can never get it back again once it's gone. And it's what I've said forever and ever and ever. The veneer of civilization is razor thin. And everyone's really seeing that right now. Oh, yeah, there's this friendship I've really, really wanted to, I'm compelled to reconnect with this person, and this is a big but. I've learned that desire, because you really, really care about someone, you really do want to reconnect with them in the worst way. That's not always good to act upon unless conditions are set when trust has been broken. You understand? As much as I do want to reconnect, and I do, in this case, it's a boundary that's interesting I have to set because it's not one that I generally do. I used to be more than I'd go all the way. I mean, to like doormat status. And now, and then I came back the other end of the spectrum, I think, and now I'm back at the middle, which is unless the foundation has been agreed upon, regardless of whatever past connection there was or future connection I hope to have, unless we can negotiate an agreement in which both sides recognize their part, then I don't think that, no, I know I prefer not to step into that arena. Yeah, that's how I want to put that. The sun's coming up, it's so pretty. So I'm starting this playlist called Hunting Humor because oh my gosh, I just find myself so inundated with all this trauma stuff, and it's necessary. I've got to fill the library, but I also need to carve out some funny, because first of all, I'm very funny. You should really ask my friends. They will tell you that I really am very funny. And secondly, humor is truly like the best medicine. I mean, without question. So I started this playlist called Hunting Humor, and I put the first episode, the only one right now in there, is 3 memories of my oldest living granddaughter, Liv, that are just cuter than cute and make me laugh and smile every time I think about them. So check that out. The last thing is this. If I had my druthers, regardless of what has happened in the past, I would rather be with my daughter and reunited. It should be made clear to anyone, and most especially my daughter, because how would she know this? I mean, first of all, I'm blocked on every channel, so she either has to come and look at this on the channel, or someone has to share it with her in order for her to know that there will not be a public reconciliation on the YouTube channel. That's not what would happen at all. The only way that would happen is if after it was all gotten to a place where Jess and I were both at a total place of comfort and we were doing this together, because that's I would love for. I've told my friends I'm too old to do all of this. I would love to travel. I want to get on the road and go interview, like this lady that just shared with me that she's reunited with her daughter. How cool with that B, just to go and drive and interview her and her daughter for a little bit and then move on. That's what I want to do. And my daughter and grandkids, they can like run the channel and the technical whatever. Or my granddaughter can run the eBay store and raise my great-grandson. I mean, that's what I would love to have happen. This channel, we speak the language of love here. Almost always. Sometimes I don't do so well, and that's understandable. I mean, I think you'd understand, or people understand, but I'm also like one of the only few that insist upon it. So there's that. So I want my daughter to be reconciled. Of course I do. And if she chooses this path, I mean, that's the other thing, is that were she to be in a place where she needed a place where she and or my granddaughter and great-grandson to find respite and peace and quiet, they could stay here temporarily. I have a little suite in the back that I can hang out in. I pretty much do. I live in it. I'm very happy here. And they could have the rest of the space for as long as they needed to till they got back on their feet. I just wanted them to know that. I want my daughter to know that. Listen, I'll tell you something. She really got screwed, you know? My own pain, of course, our own pain, we get so overwhelmed with our own pain. Of course we do. And I lost myself and, our world's imploded. I mean, good God, think about this. One of my AI assistants, because I used two of them to work on this Oprah episode, monster beast that it is. One of them said I'm a unicorn. A mother who has lost a child to suicide, and then also the other one to estrangement, and the rest of the family, right? So I know there's others out there. I know there's a lot of us out there. But what I also know is this. We're all traumatized, like to some degree or another, particularly now. At the macro level, tell me you're not traumatized by what's going on in our country. So, of course, my daughter, if we go down to the micro level and you think about what she went through, April 20th, 2004, she was, 4 or 5 months pregnant, and thank God, literally, the higher power that I had helped she and her husband-to-be to move up here just 2 weeks before the tornado that took his parents' lives, both of them. And then her brother took his life on July 13th of that, just a few months later. Now she's pregnant, 7.5 months. And then she and her husband get married 2 weeks later. My mother and I do the entire wedding. I don't know. And then Olivia is born on September 20th. And then TJ is born a year later, and there's like a massive drama that goes on with that. But it's all boils down to all these traumas. Now, think about an F, whatever it was, tornado. It was massive, that hit Utica, Illinois on April 20th, 2004. Think about, we went there that night. We were there the whole night waiting for them to bring up what we hoped were live people, and it wasn't. It was 9 souls perished. And then just weeks later, your brother and hero takes his own life out 1,200 miles from home. 2 weeks before he's supposed to come home and stand up in your wedding. And then that wedding is held 2 weeks later, which we were all in shock, clearly. Everybody had to be in shock, did they not? Right? So, and then Olivia is born. I mean, it just, do you understand? Everything went crazy. And my daughter lost her bearings. My daughter's mother lost her bearings. And during that window of time, when I lost my bearings and wasn't able to be a mother to my daughter, who needed me to be a mother to her, there were lots of outside forces that gave her the enemy, that pushed at her and made her mother the enemy, because everyone needs an enemy when your hero is gone. So trauma, this is a trauma-based channel. Do you understand now why it exists? Just a couple of days after the election, I would have gone the day after, but he smartly went on vacation for almost a week, so I guess it would have been a week after the election. I sat down in front of my therapist, and the first words out of my mouth were, "Just medicate me." Yeah, that's why. So the best we can do right now is the best we can do. That's the other thing. We're also like we're so hard on ourselves. We're so hard on other people. I mean, let's give one another a break. Really. Let's just do that, shall we? There's just enough hatred in this world. And you have to understand. Do you understand by now, if you didn't before? Do you understand what the end game always was? It was to divide and conquer. That has always been the end game of any dysfunctional regime or any dysfunctional family. Thanks for listening.